Hi everyone, welcome to your weekly reading. Okay, let's go ahead and see what is coming up for us this week. Okay. Okay, so let's see what we've got going on here. I know that you can't quite see everything. Okay. So the first card is the Star. So what a great card to start the reading with. And then we have Seven of Cups. Queen of Swords, Six of Swords, Queen of Wands as the heart of our reading, Nine of Cups, Ace of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, and Knight of Coins. Okay, so give me a moment to look this over and tie everything together. Okay, one thing that really stands out to me when I look at this reading, I'm sure you know what I'm going to do here, is that we have the Star and the Nine of Cups, which is, this is the Wish card, the Fairy Godmother card, and this is a major arcana, but this represents your hopes and wishes, and they're both here, which is very interesting. I kind of feel like this week, some of you may be revising your goals. I feel like you're being Spirit is prompting you to rethink some of the things that you want for yourself. These may be long-term goals or something you recently decide to invest time in. It could be your career, a move, a relationship. Because I'm saying this because we have the Queen. I'm sorry, not the Queen. We do have a Queen. We have two, but we have the Seven of Cups here. This represents kind of, not clear thinking. It represents confusion, illusion, and sometimes it represents a lot of choices to where you're just overwhelmed, especially you're overwhelmed emotionally. So I feel like some of you, you're going through something right now where you're in the middle of you're looking at something that either you've, like I said, you've wanted for a long time, or something that you've recently decided to, like I said, invest time in, maybe even invest money in. And I feel like you're confused. You thought, this is what I want, but maybe now you're thinking maybe I should think about this a little bit more. I do feel like you're going to be doing some thinking because we have the Queen of Swords. And this, for some of you, this could represent you. This would be a woman who's an air sign, and then we have a woman who's a fire sign here. But I'm kind of getting more, because this is, a general reading. I kind of feel like they're telling you to use, seeing it next to the Seven of Cups, they're saying to use logic. Sometimes there comes a time when you have to really rely on your intuition, and you have to rely on your emotions. But I kind of feel like there's a lot going on emotionally to where you're getting overwhelmed and you're not seeing things clearly. It's leading to confusion, and I feel like you can cut through some of this if you kind of take a step back for a minute there from everything that you're feeling and look at things like really objectively. Like, is this what I truly want? Or do I need to look at things a little bit more logically? Do I need to wait to have some more clarity maybe before making a decision? And we have the Queen of Wands here at the heart of the reading. And yeah, I'm just kind of looking like what's going on here. 7 of Cups, Queen of Wands, Wheel of Fortune. Like I said, this is confusion, illusion, just kind of like disorganization and like emotionally, like you don't know what to do. Like there's too many things to choose from. And this here, sorry, you can't see it. The Wheel of Fortune, this is a major arcana that represents things finally turning around for you. Things finally changing for you. You finally being on top of things, on top of the world, instead of hitting rock bottom. And it has a matching card in this reading. We have the 6 of Swords, which represents moving to a better place. So just like, I mentioned that we have the Star and the 9 of Cups, which match this week. The Wheel of Fortune also matches the 6 of Swords, which means that you're moving to a much more positive place. The 6 of Swords, it represents that you're leaving negativity behind. Perhaps you're even kind of leaving something that didn't serve you for something much better. It means that you're making progress and you're moving to a much more positive place. And then, the 9 of Cups is over here on the other side of the Queen. And I feel like this is, what you have been hoping for. I do feel like for some of you, like I said, I just keep getting the message that you will be kind of revising your plans. It may not be that you completely throw away your hopes and wishes, but maybe there's something that you do differently. That's just the feeling that I'm getting from this reading. But there is definitely that your hopes and wishes are very prominent this week. And with the 6 of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune, that represents change for you, positive change. Like I said, the Queen of Wands is at the center of the reading this week, and this represents you really being self-confident and really kind of believing in yourself. This represents a lot of inner fire and a lot of passion. So it could be that you make a different decision, that what you're hoping for, your hopes and wishes, make sure that they're aligned with what you truly want, and that you're not kind of settling is what I'm getting. That you're not making fear-based decisions. I'm even getting that some of you need to dream a little bigger. Yeah, she's just kind of reminding you how much inner fire that you have, and she's saying to use it this week, especially when you're kind of in this energy of the 7 of Cups, where you're just kind of confused and overwhelmed emotionally. That's why the Queen of Swords is here, saying think about things logically, to see what you are kind of really hoping for. Is it truly everything that you deserve, or can you do better? Now over here we have the Ace of Cups. So for some of you, yeah, this may be a relationship that we're talking about. Maybe not for everyone. It could be that there's some relationship that is kind of pending in your life right now, where maybe you thought this person, the Star, the 9 of Cups, this person was your dream come true. Maybe you thought he was your life partner. You may be confused about this. I don't know. For some of you, I'm getting there could be someone better for you that you're not. Maybe you're afraid. You're afraid of moving in a direction of that person, or maybe you're just afraid of making a different decision. So that's what I get from that card. And then down here, I've already talked about the Wheel of Fortune. And like I said, this card, it has a matching energy here in the 6 of Swords. It's your time for change. It's your time to be on top of the world. But I kind of feel like it has to be in a different energy because of the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands does not match the energy of 7 of Cups. Like I said, this is just confusion and just kind of blah. I don't even know what to do because my emotions are all over the place, when she's really in control. She is so passionate. She knows what she wants and she goes after it. I feel like when you're really passionate and you know what you want, and this reading is kind of telling you that you're on the right track, but just don't let your emotions get the best of you. If you're really kind of going with your inner fire and what you're passionate about, you have the potential to be on top of things. The Wheel of Fortune, change for the better. And then we have the Knight of Coins. So I kind of feel like for some of you, this is kind of change in your, perhaps some of what you have been, what we're talking about this week, the Star and the Nine of Cups, this wish of yours, has something to do, with more earthy things. It could represent so many different things because the Knights all represent change, and this is the Suit of Pentacles. So this could be, that you're confused about a job. You're confused about where you should be living. You're confused about a relationship. I mean, it's anything material. But this card also represents that you're moving, that you're moving towards your goal. You're moving towards your wishes, which is right here. It's aligned with it. But I keep getting the feeling, especially with the Queen of Swords lined up here with everything, I do feel like they're saying to kind of really think about things logically. I just got the feeling that you might be able to do a little better than you are thinking, and this might be why there's some confusion. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the love reading. Okay, so let's get into the reading, love reading for singles. Let's see what's coming up for you this week. I noticed the weekly reading that the sound sounded a little bit off. I don't know if it's just me because I have an ear infection right now. I don't know. Let me know if it seemed different to you. I don't know. It just sounded like it kind of like irritated my ears or something. Okay. I think I'm going to use the same cards for the couples, because I noticed last week when I used different cards that it was like this, it was like a very similar message, so I don't think I'm going to pull different cards. I'm just going to use the same ones. Okay. Okay, so first card is King of Cups, the Empress, the Hierophant. The Hierophant always seems to show up in these readings. The Devil, Temperance, the Lovers, the Knight of Wands, the Five of Cups, and the Page of Cups. Okay, so very, very interesting already, and I haven't even tuned in yet. Okay, so give me a moment to look these over and tie everything together. This is for singles. Okay, I feel like just kind of looking at these cards, I feel like for those of you who are single, like this could be like a very like emotional week for you. I don't know, I get the feeling looking at these cards that there is like someone around you that you're being pushed to. I don't know, I feel like I say this like every week, but I mean the Hierophant, the Lovers, the Page of Cups, I feel like there's someone like that is like either like your life partner or like a twin flame that you are so close to like meeting this person. And I feel like you may be getting like really like close to like finding this person, but some of you may be feeling this as like very emotional, like you're getting very emotional and you don't know why. And I feel like part of this is that their spirit is working on opening your heart chakra. I do feel like, the Devil is here this week. And I feel like this, Notice how we have the Hierophant and then the Devil. And these are kind of like opposite energies, because the Hierophant is a very spiritual card. It represents spiritual guidance. It means where you belong. It means like-minded individuals, and it's lined up with the Lovers and the Page of Cups, which represents a new love. This is not spiritual. This is your ego. This is negative thinking. This is negative, perhaps negative relationships, negative energy. So, I don't know, for some of you, I feel like you may even kind of be dealing with something from the past. I mean, we do have the Five of Cups here, where you're not really kind of, you know, you're so close. I don't know, I just keep getting the feeling that you're close to meeting either like your life partner or having a significant relationship because of the Lovers. But for some of you, like, you're either in a negative place because maybe it's just been a long time since you've been in a romantic relationship, or you're focusing on some type of like loss from the past. And this is kind of acting, well, it's working against you is what I'm getting, because of the Devil in combination with the Five of Cups. It's not allowing this, like, you know, this energy of the Lovers and the Page of Cups that, you know, it really wants to find you. It's not allowing it to quite come together. And, you know, Temperance as the heart of the reading. To me, this card is always about things in moderation. I feel like some of you, like, yeah, I even kind of feel like this ties in with the weekly reading. Like, you may be tempted to, like, settle when it comes to your love life. For some of you, like, you might be completely, like, backing off because, you know, either you're, like I said, in a negative place, or you're thinking about something that was lost in the past, a person who was lost to you. But some of you might be kind of settling for, like, an unhealthy relationship. Like, if you're cozying up to somebody right now, and let's say you just, you know, you've had one date and this person's already kind of showing, like, traits that, you know, wouldn't, you know, this is not your life partner. I feel like they're saying, like, you can cut this out now. Like, don't get any deeper. That's why the Temperance card is here. Like, don't, I'm like focusing on his feet here. They're barely in the water. You're barely in, so don't go in any deeper than you have already. You know, especially, like I said, if this person is already kind of showing, like, an unhealthy side to them. And, you know, because I know I'm kind of moving all over the place this week, but that's just what I felt guided to do. The King of Cups here. And, you know, it's a king, and it could be, you know, for those of you that are watching are female, and the majority of you are, that, I mean, the Devil and the King of Cups these are not matching energies. So this is unhealthy, and this is, you know, this would be a man or a woman who's very open-hearted, very generous, very loving, affectionate, romantic. And look what it's next to, the Empress. Sometimes she represents marriage and children, and there's a lot of, like, love in this reading. You have matching energies and the Empress and the Lovers and the Page of Cups. Like I said, I feel like this is, like, a significant relationship. And this could be coming, you know, this is either a man or a woman who is very in touch with their heart. And I kind of feel like there's something here in the picture. For some of you, I'm getting that it's like a person that is not in touch with their emotions. They're kind of superficial, and maybe even have, like, unhealthy addictions, unhealthy destructive behavior patterns. And this is not the person that you belong with. And I feel like on some level, like, you already know that. You may even, you know, this is for singles, but I kind of feel like there may be someone that you're kind of contemplating dating or somewhat interested in, but then you know, you go back and forth. That's probably why I'm tying it in with the weekly reading. You know, and like I said, the Lovers card, this is just, you know, the ultimate card to get in a love reading, because it represents, you know, a significant relationship that changes your life. And like I said, with the Empress and the Page of Cups, everything is lined up. And my goodness, especially with the Hierophant right here. And the Hierophant usually, like, shows up in these love readings because it's all about spiritual guidance. You're being guided to the right person, and you're being kind of pointed away from, like, the wrong people. So I feel like you're close to a significant relationship, to your life partner. You just kind of have to really kind of follow where you're being guided. There's a lot of blessings here in the Empress. The Empress represents having it all. I feel like they're telling that you can have it all when it comes to relationships. You don't have to settle or just, you know, someone that you just happen to meet who looks okay. The Empress represents, you know, abundance on all levels. It means that you can have a happy marriage. and children, and you can be financially stable and healthy and happy. You don't have to just settle for something that isn't worth your time. So I kind of feel like for some of you, you may either have recently met or you will be meeting someone that you'll be tempted to settle for, and they're screaming at you this week. Don't do that, because there's someone significant, like very close. If you don't already know who it is, someone that is just really kind of lined up. I mean, literally right here, they're lined up to come into your life. And ironically, the Knight of Wands is here next to the Devil. To me, the Knight of Wands, it represents, you know, the change and movement. We had the Knight of Pentacles in the weekly, well, in the general reading. It's a different energy. For me, the Knight of Wands, it represents, especially in a love reading, it represents almost like a knight in shining armor, like the Knight of Cups. This represents someone like saving you from like something unhealthy. And here, like, does that need any further explanation? And like, you know, I almost feel like these two cards tie in as well. The King of Cups, the Knight of Wands, they're kind of different energies. This could be someone who's a water sign, a fire sign. There may even be like two people that have potential to be like a significant relationship for you, but something unhealthy is here in the middle. Like the wrong person for you, or you're just kind of thinking about something from the past. Yeah, I kind of feel like for some of you, like, for some of you, you're just kind of like withdrawing into yourself. The Five of Cups is all about just really feeling like really disappointed. Maybe you're disappointed that things have not worked out in your love life the way that you wanted it to. I feel like some of you had set some goals for yourself that maybe aren't working out. Or perhaps you're kind of looking at a relationship from the past and just kind of still allowing that to haunt you. I feel like the Temperance card is saying don't give in to those feelings. Like, kind of catch yourself before you really like throw yourself into those feelings of despair, or even kind of falling for the wrong person, because the right person is here. The Page of Cups. This is, you know, a new relationship. Sometimes it can represent, you know, rekindling an old relationship, but considering that the Five of Cups is here, which represents something that was lost, I don't know, I'm just kind of getting like a new feeling, like there's a new partner for you. This is love and romance that is being offered to you. And like I said, with the Lovers here, this is something significant. So I feel like this week there's kind of like a, just like I said in the weekly reading, there's a lot of thinking to do as far as like, are you being guided to like the wrong kind of people or someone in particular? Or are you allowing something from the past to kind of like hold you back from finding a new partner? Because I feel like there's definitely like a immense potential for you to meet someone significant. Like I said, either your life partner or someone that you have a significant relationship with. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the reading for couples. Okay, so let's get into the reading for couples. I felt guided to pull different cards, even though I said I wasn't going to, but I couldn't quite like pull the reading together for couples, and I felt like they were all just the wrong cards. So I'm going to pull 9 cards from here. See what is coming up for those of you who are either married or in a relationship. Okay, so we have 9 cards. Let me just adjust them a little bit. The first card that we pulled is 2 of Swords. The Devil. Oh my goodness, here he is again. The Moon. The 7 of Wands. The King of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles. Oh, this reading is getting like really weird. The 2 of Pentacles. Strength. Ace of Wands. Oh my goodness. Okay, so give me a moment to look this over and tie everything together. Okay, one thing like really like stands out to me when I look at this reading, in this particular reading, is the heart of the reading, and it's the King of Pentacles. I kind of feel like for this week, they're telling you guys who are in relationships that you have to think of abundance. You have to think of your own happiness, your own stability, especially for those of you who are married and those of you who have children. Before you think of like anything else, like especially about your partner, you have to think about like what is really going to bring you happiness and bring you a sense of stability. That's the energy of the King of Pentacles. Now, I'm kind of feeling, no, it's very strange that we have the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles and then the Seven of Wands here. I kind of feel like, you know, this represents like you as a couple. I mean, the King and the Queen, this is, you know, like it could represent two people who are an earth sign, but frankly, that's not the feeling I'm getting. I feel like this is talking about you. This is you and your couple. I kind of feel like there's something different about you. The Seven of Wands, I know I'm kind of like all over the place in this reading again, just like I did the other love reading, but I kind of feel like the Seven of Wands is saying that you really have to stand up to your partner. And again, I feel like this represents like your happiness and your abundance that perhaps you're not getting in this relationship. Something that kind of needs to be fixed. And we do have the Devil and the Moon right next to each other with the Two of Swords. So that's like a really like intense energy. Yeah, I kind of feel like first and foremost, they want me to say here with the Seven of Wands that for some of you, you might kind of feel like intimidated by your partner. Like maybe you don't want to make them angry, you don't want to lose them, but you really need to speak up for yourself. I feel like you're kind of holding back your own happiness and abundance. And the Queen of Pentacles represents also just stability and also a very, you know, loving, nurturing energy. And I kind of feel like something is disturbing that in your relationships, where you really just have to stand up for yourself here. You have to kind of show your partner that you know what you want as well. Maybe even that you know, you have certain things that you want to do with your life, and also that your opinion matters is what I'm getting. And then we have, it's funny that we have two twos. We have the Two of Swords and the Two of Pentacles here. I kind of feel like, you know, to me, twos represent like decisions. Like you have a decision to make about this relationship. Like, is this person like really going to ever acknowledge me? Are they really going to let me like, you know, do my own thing? Are we ever going to heal this relationship? That's the feeling that I'm getting. You may have to make some type of decision about that. I feel like it's something very difficult because the Two of Swords is here. This represents like someone who's not budging. And it could be that your partner is not budging about something that is not very positive. Like I said, for some of you, it might kind of be like, you know, it could be an unhealthy relationship. And that doesn't mean that it's completely dysfunctional. Although the Devil is, you know, a major arcana. But it could just be that there's something unhealthy in the relationship. Like the person doesn't allow you to have your own dreams. You know, they're not, maybe you want to go back to school, or you want to find yourself, or reinvent yourself in some way. And that this person could be like acting as an obstacle where you have to kind of stand up for yourself. That is clearly here. And I feel like there's a decision that has to be made about something that is unhealthy. And this card here usually means that you're going to feel like trapped. You're going to feel like there's really no place to go until you make a decision. Now, like I said, the Devil is kind of like an unhealthy energy, an unhealthy relationship. Sometimes it means that there are vices. Some of you might kind of be dealing with a partner that, you know, has some unhealthy habits that need to be worked on. Maybe you're willing to stand up to them about this. Something unhealthy and happening in the relationship. But we also have the Moon. And I feel like for some of you, this represents like fear. You're afraid of standing up for yourself. You're afraid of making a decision. Perhaps a decision is to confront this, whatever this negative thing here is. The Moon represents our fears, but it also represents illusion and delusion. And we did have the Seven of Cups in the weekly reading. So I kind of feel like you know, what's happening in your relationship, it may not quite be like what it seems. To me, that's what the moon means. It means that you're not seeing the full picture. So I feel like, you know, I don't see any, I mean, we do have the devil in this reading, but I'm not kind of feeling like they're telling you to like walk away necessarily from this relationship, but I do feel like you need to speak up and make a decision. And things, I feel like, you know, perhaps this thing that's happening with the devil is not quite what it seems. Like something is kind of hidden from you here. Perhaps something that is unhealthy in this relationship that you're not seeing, or something that you don't want to bring up to your partner. Now, like I said, the Two of Pentacles down here, this represents, to me, like I said, decisions, just like the Two of Swords, but also represents like instability to me. And I felt, you know, as soon as I saw this card, I felt like they want you thinking of your own happiness and your own abundance and a sense of stability for you, especially for those of you who have children, because the Queen of Pentacles represents fertility and children. I kind of feel like here things like you may be dealing like with a relationship where you really don't even know where you stand. The Two of Pentacles is all about way too many balls up in the air and juggling things back and forth. I feel like some of you might be dealing with a partner who comes and goes, and like you really kind of have to like stand up to them. Here it is. You have to stand up to them and make a decision about this relationship. Now, the Strength card is here next to this card about instability, like where you really don't know what in the world's happening in the relationship. And it means that you're going to have to be really brave. You're going to have to be really brave and open a can of worms maybe that you don't want to open. But this is for your own peace of mind, for your own stability, and you're removing something negative from the equation here. This represents a lot of inner strength and yeah, and it means that, I don't know, I'm kind of getting the feeling that for some of you, like, you're stronger than you think you are when it comes to your partner. Like I said, you might kind of feel intimidated, but this means that you can kind of quiet them down, just like the woman is doing to the lion here. Like, there's something maybe that you can, like, if you talk to your partner, you can bring out a completely different side of them. Make them maybe see things logically as far as, like, what's going on here that is unhealthy. If you kind of decide to bring this up, really confront this issue. But this represents you kind of being like really brave and bringing something to the surface. And it's a major arcana as well. So we have major arcana strength, and then the devil. So that's something unhealthy. And you're being really brave here with stability and abundance right in the heart of the reading. So I feel like you and your partner are right here. And you could have it all as long as something unhealthy is talked about, removed, decision is made. And we end the reading with a new beginning. So that's why I said I don't feel like they're saying like everything's a total loss here, unless you know there's something like really ugly going on in your relationship, then you would know that you deserve better. But the Ace of Wands represents like a new life, and it is next to the Queen of Pentacles. So I don't know, for some of you, like especially those who are dating, like you may feel really guided to fix this relationship, perhaps because you're meant to have children with this person. But this also represents like kind of like just wiping everything, like wiping the slate clean and starting over. That's why I feel like something here is not a total loss, maybe not for everyone. And this represents sometimes moving. I kind of feel like it means like moving in a different direction, like a relationship that is completely like transformed into like something, you know, totally brand new, like unrecognizable. But I do feel like there's a lot of work to do here. Some of it is kind of like intimidating, but they're telling you that you just kind of have to be like really brave and be the strong one in the relationship and bring up something, discuss something that is unhealthy, and some type of decision perhaps that has to be made. And you know, you deserve to have some type of stability in your relationship. Okay everyone, this has been your weekly reading. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will speak to you again next week.